Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while since my last video and I wanted to get on a more regular cadence with these, but you know, life gets in the way, and that's sort of what this video is about actually, is that concept of life getting in the way, these lofty goals that I set for myself and that we all set for ourselves, and how we should just take more time to enjoy the process of creating as opposed to focusing too much on the output itself. Recently, I have broken out one of my favorite books, Flow, by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I'm totally going to butcher that name. We have a massive tendency to hyper-focus on what needs to get done, as opposed to the journey to get there, to get that output. I take on way more than I can or should chew. It's weird when you break that sentence up. In Flow, there are a lot of great nuggets, a lot of great pieces of information, a lot of great takeaways. Some things that are, when you read them, it's that thing where you feel like it was so obvious, but when you read it in context and when you read it against research, it kind of codifies it even more than you had originally intended or originally thought. I am marginally driven by the same things as everybody else. Money, notoriety, yet I'm heavily driven by a feeling of satisfaction, experimentation, and flow. And so when I broke this book back out, it started to resonate with me really heavily because it's this concept that these things in life, like money and notoriety, fame, whatever you want to call it, are not really what drive people. What drives people is doing good work and feeling in that state of flow while they're doing good work. Perhaps the most important quality, the one that is most consistently present in all creative individuals, is the ability to enjoy the process of creation for its own sake. I think what a lot of people do is they categorize this as passion, and I actually don't see it as passion. I see it as just enjoying, getting that euphoria, that high from really doing great work and being in the moment while you're doing it, being in that deep work flow mindset. So I am a programmer, and when I sit down and I start to build out an application, or I start to build out a feature or a piece of an application, it's not necessarily the end product that I'm excited about. Yeah, it's exciting to kind of show off something. It's exciting to show people what has been created, and it's really great when it works. But at the end of the day, what I really get into is the intricacies of the work itself. So sitting down, focusing, having a long stretch of time, 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever you want to call it, where I can really get in and focus. And I think that's an important piece of it, is this concept of time while you are doing great creative work. Spending time enjoying the moments between the results is what really brings us happiness. And sometimes I need to remind myself of that, because I will get frustrated if I don't get a video out, or I do not have an album finished that I've been working on forever, or you know, something takes longer than expected. But a lot of times, if you focus more on the process itself and focus more on the enjoyment of doing what you're doing, inevitably you're gonna have better results that way. In the book, Flow talks about 9 feelings of enjoying the process, and I'm looking at my computer because I have these written down. I obviously don't have them memorized. There are clear goals every step of the way. There's immediate feedback to one's actions. There's a balance between challenges and skills. Action and awareness are merged. Distractions are excluded from consciousness. There is no worry of failure. Self-consciousness disappears. The sense of time becomes distorted, and the activity itself becomes autotelic. The high-level takeaway here is, yes, I'm talking about flow, I'm talking about this book, but I'm also talking about my own experience recently. And it's been more of an enjoyment for me to focus on the work that I'm doing in a way that I am just there for that moment. I'm just there doing that thing and enjoying the process. Let's take a couple examples of the things that I do, like shooting these videos. I hear about a lot of creators setting up their studio, and they will do videos on an entire process on this, where they will set up their studios. They'll mount things to the ceiling, they'll mount things to the walls, to their tables, everything's on wheels, and everything is like perfectly placed so that they can come in, sit down, and just start recording. They can just hit record. That's kind of the mantra for this, is just hit record. It is important to keep these kinds of things in mind. Create efficiencies in your life. Obviously, you don't want everything that you do to just be chaotic, running into walls, dropping things, not knowing where anything is. Obviously, you want to be organized and efficient. But at the same time, part of flow for me is this concept of experimentation. If I were to just come in and sit down and hit record and just churn through these videos all the time, it would not be nearly as enjoyable for me. I actually really enjoy the gear. I enjoy the process of setup. I'm not in a place where I've got a dedicated studio so that everything can be set up at all times. I have to set it up every time, and sometimes it's annoying. In reality, I enjoy tinkering. I enjoy finding better ways to do things every time I do them. If I'm just looking at it like it's on autopilot, then I get bored very quickly. And I think that's something that is in this concept of flow. When we look back at these 9 dimensions of flow, one of them is there's a balance between challenges and skills. You want to feel skilled. You want to be able to burn through some things because it makes you feel good. You create that forward momentum, but at the same time, you want to have some of those roadblocks so that you can challenge yourself and figure out solutions to problems, figure out a way to navigate and weave through those roadblocks. I genuinely just enjoy the process of making videos. I actually really enjoy setting the things up. I enjoy getting, the white balances and messing with the cameras and the gear. I love that part. I love editing. I love publishing. I love seeing what people say about it, the response I get. I enjoy that experimentation. I enjoy trying different scenes, different sets, and all of that kind of stuff. When it comes to writing music, I am a gearhead. I love gear. I love guitars. I love synthesizers. I love drums. I love microphones. I love computer interfaces. Every aspect of writing and creating music, I love. It's one of my deepest passions in life. Experimenting with various guitars and amps and pedals and synths and all that kind of stuff is the part of it that I love the most. So experimentation and getting into that flow state, getting into that part of the process where everything disappears around me and I'm just focused on that moment. I will build a creation around that tinkering, around that experimentation. The end product might not be necessarily what I heard in my head, and the end product might not even be something that I use, but just sitting and enjoying picking those things up and playing with them, just enjoying that creative process. I highly, highly suggest just doing things for the sake of being creative. Last in my kind of examples of experimentation is something that I've been doing a lot more of, and I think a lot of us have been doing a lot more of, and that's cooking. To me, almost the pinnacle of this concept of experimentation and enjoying the process and almost not even caring about the output. The greatest parts of being creative is that concept of just doing it because you love it. Who cares if you're showing it to people? Build something, create something, paint something, draw something, whatever you want to do just for you. And a lot of times if you do that, you'll end up being proud of it because that self-consciousness disappears while you're in that flow state of doing it. So what you end up coming out with is this thing that while you were creating it, you had so much joy and excitement around it that you just want to share it. And that's a great thing. If you're back, if you're friendly, if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. Please share with your friends. Please give me a like. Any help that you could give would be greatly appreciated. All I can say is get out there and create something. We're all stuck at home. Take that time to be creative and just enjoy the process along the way. It will make you better. It will make you happier. And the output that you do have will be greater than what you have if you're just focused on the end goal. Thanks.